For the main Easter egg in Shattered Vale, there are several portraits that you have to do challenges for, and each challenge requires you to find items and do tasks throughout the map. I'm going to take you through every single one of the 3 portraits and what you have to do to complete them. Let's get into it. Now, before we can even get to the parts where you interact with the portraits and do the challenges, you have to get the Ray Gun Mark II and go through every single one of the steps to unlock the 3 different variants: the blue variant, the yellow variant, and the purple variant. I have a video that covers every single one of these variants and how to get them, so to help keep this video in a decent amount of time, I'm going to link that down below so you can reference that if you don't know how to get them yet. First, let's start with the blue portrait. You're going to need to find an item that is right across the spot where you can go and interact with Double Tap. You want to look inside this box and pick up this lamp, and you need to make your way into the study to look for a very tiny bell. This bell can be found in a huge number of locations, including any of the glass cabinets that you do need to break before you can actually interact with the bell. It can also be found on the floor near the statue and the pig's head, and also in the smaller cabinets. So again, you're going to need to look over this room with a very fine-tooth comb until you find that bell and interact with it. Now, to try and give you an idea of how small this bell is and how easily it blends into the backgrounds, this is what the bell is going to look like. It's a small brass bell that, again, you need to look very closely in these cabinets and on the floor to actually interact with. Now, once you have both the bell and the lamp, make your way into the grand foyer, or the area that you see the giant dinosaur. You want to interact with this wall piece that looks like you could place the lamp on it. As soon as you place the lamp, you're going to be playing a short game of Simon Says. Simply follow the pattern that the lamp is showing you. So for example, in my game, I had 3 on the right side. Every single round, it was just 1 light on the right side, then 2 lights on the right side, then 3 lights on the right side. This pattern will change every game, so it's not going to be the exact same pattern that I have in my game, so pay attention to the pattern it shows you. Once you have done the pattern correctly, a door is going to open, showing you a hidden basement. Inside this basement, you're going to see a portrait. This is where the blue variant of the Ray Gun Mark II comes into play. With the blue variant of the Ray Gun Mark II, make your way down to the portrait and interact with this machine right next to the portrait. This is going to start a small, very small soul box that is going to charge up this portrait. Once the portrait is done charging, you're going to see that portrait turn into a blue portal that you need to step through to interact with the character that is inside of that portrait. This is the part where the bell comes in, but you're also going to need a gun that has the brain rot ammo mod, because you're going to need to get a brain rotted zombie. With the bell and the ammo mod equipped to your gun, make your way to the 2nd level of the Tyrannosaurus Rex room and over to the corner bar. You're going to see a small ghost bell that you need to interact with, which is going to place that other bell that you got inside of the study. At this point, all you have to do is shoot the zombies until you get a brain rotted zombie. Once you get a brain rotted zombie, you need to spam interact with that small bell on the bar. This is going to force that brain rotted zombie to jump over the bar and interact with a small flask. It's going to very quickly explode, and the flask is going to fall down onto the counter. You will need to interact and pick up that flask and make your way back inside the blue portrait. Once inside, you need to interact with this pedestal, and it's going to start a lockdown sequence where you're going to be flashbanged and a small boss fight is going to occur. This is going to spawn a mangler with a blue force field around it that can only be broken with the blue variant of the Ray Gun Mark II. This boss isn't all that difficult, so just keep on spamming the enemy with the Ray Gun Mark II until you defeat it, and that is going to flashbang you once again, and it will charge up the ancient artifact, basically letting you know that you completed this challenge. For the purple portrait, you don't actually need to go and pick up anything before you take the purple variant of the Ray Gun Mark II and interact with the machine next to the portal, so you can go and do this right away as soon as you get the purple variant for the Ray Gun Mark II. Once again, you just need to charge up the portrait until it turns into a purple portal. Jump through that purple portal, and inside this purple portal, you're going to see a long table with another character, but you're looking for this red bottle that you need to interact with. This is going to start you on a chase to try and find 3 different chalices found around the map. The very first chalice can be found inside of the spawn room. Make your way underneath the bridge, and you can take a look at this small stone bench, and on this bench is going to be that first chalice. The second chalice can be found inside the room with the giant skeleton, and on the 2nd floor you're going to see a small wooden bench that again has another one of these chalices. And the final chalice can be found inside of the wine room, which is just going to be on top of one of the high tables. At all 3 of these chalices, no matter the order, you have to go and interact with it. You're going to see some wine be poured into the chalice, and an elder disciple is going to spawn. Simply take out that elder disciple, and above that same cup that you poured the wine into, a symbol is is going to have appeared, letting you know that you have completed this challenge and you can move on to the next chalice. Once you have done all 3 chalice challenges, you want to make your way down to where the purple portrait is, but go past it and you're going to see 3 numbers have shown up in 3 portraits. Remember the order from left to right, and you're going to have to make your way over to where death perception is, and you're going to find a small safe that you can interact with. Again, the numbers on these portrait locations are going to be different every single game, so they will not be the same as you see them in my game. Once you make your way to death perception's room and interact with the safe, all you have to do is punch in those 3 numbers, again from left to right, and it's going to open up showing you an item that you need to pick up and bring back inside of the purple portrait. Once inside, repeat the same process as the blue portrait, interact with this pedestal. You're going to have a small boss fight where a boss is only damaged by the purple variant of the ray gun Mark II. Once you defeat that boss again, the artifact is going to be charged and you can move on to the final portrait. Now the yellow portrait is by far my least favorite, simply because of the items that you have to get later on inside of this portrait's challenge are scattered on a variety of different locations, almost worse than the bell. But first you need to open the portal, which again, you take the yellow variant of the ray gun Mark II, you kill zombies to charge up the portrait until it becomes a giant yellow portrait that again you need to jump into. This time the guy inside of this portrait is going to give you a couple clues of what you're going to be looking for. You're going to be looking for 3 distinct items. However, you can only see these items and interact with them if you have Ether Shroud activated. So you want to equip Ether Shroud by either going into the game with Ether Shroud, or you can change it to your field upgrade via the menu. The first item is going to be a family portrait inside of a fireplace. There are 3 fireplaces in total. This is the first one that you can find in the east foyer. The next one is going to be inside of the study, and the third one is going to be found just to the right of the purple portrait. The second item is going to be a ledger that can be found on one of 2 desks. Inside of the east foyer on the overlook, the second level, you're going to find it on this desk, and the second one is going to be on a desk inside of the study once again. Now the third and final item could be an audio log found in 2 locations. One can be right in front of the yellow portrait itself on this briefcase, and the second one is on top of the desk right next to the corner bar. It is going to be on top of this circuit board. Now if you time this quick enough, you may be able to get 2, maybe 3 of these items at the same time. Now don't worry if the Ether Shroud runs out, you will have a little bit of residual time for you to go and interact with some of these other ghost items even after the Ether Shroud has dissipated, but it's not for very long. Once you have finally gotten all 3 of those ghost items, make your way back to the yellow portrait room, but don't interact with them just yet. You need to solve a small puzzle that involves these ghost books. You need to interact with these ghost books in a certain order. First, interact with the book that looks like a sideways 6, then interact with the book that has a circle with a line through it, and finally the book that has the 3 dots on it. Once you interact with these books in this order, you're going to see a secret room open up once again, just kind of like the blue portrait, but this one is much smaller. Inside, you're going to see some secret plans that you need to interact with. This is the item that you need to go and place in the pedestal inside of the yellow portrait. This is the same idea as the other 2 portraits. Interact with the pedestal to start a mini boss fight with a boss that has a shield that can only be broken with the particular variant of the ray gun Mark II. This case, it is the yellow variant. Once you have defeated that mini boss, the charge is going to occur inside of the artifact, and at this point, if you've done all 3 portraits, you are able to go into the final boss fight for the main Easter egg. Now this video covered a lot of details, so if you have questions about each of these steps or need help looking for one of the locations for the items, just let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out through the comments. But if you did find this walkthrough guide helpful for all the portraits, let me know by hitting the like, subscribe buttons down below so I know that you did find this walkthrough guide helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.